Hey everyone, today we're starting a new series on the book of the Psalms. So just 150 days of going through each Psalm. Okay, we're not actually going to do that. Instead, today I want to start with a way of thinking about the Psalms as a whole that'll help us get our heads around them. I think when we think about the book of Psalms, if you're going to do like a word association, the first word that would come to people's mind is praise. Right? This is the book we go to find praise and happy things to say to God. It's what a lot of our hymns are based on. That's what we read in church. It's kind of these mountaintop experiences about how great God is. And, we're kind of trained, I think, to only talk about God that way. We might have prayer requests at times, but those come from a place of praise. We're not really upset about anything. We're just asking God, who is all great and powerful, to do these things for us. But if you're being honest, haven't you had some kind of dark nights? You said some things to God in prayer or otherwise that you don't really want to repeat. I think sometimes there's also this division between, what we can say to God in church and what I might say in everyday life. Now, it's true that some prayers are going to be pretty personal, and so I'm not going to stand up in front of the church and say those, but I think the problem might be when we create this false division. So we kind of have there's two versions of ourselves, right? There's the church me who talks this way to God, and there's another version of me that talks a totally different way. What I like about the Psalms is that they give us a faithful way to talk to God in every situation. There is a place for praise and thanksgiving and joy, but there is also a place for lament and darkness and doubt and anger. And so a way that we're going to look at this isn't original to me, but it looks at the Psalms as kind of a threefold division of different places you can put the different Psalms, of orientation, disorientation, and new orientation. So these orientation Psalms, those are the ones that we think of first, right? These are the ones that are about praise. Everything is right, God is good, and we're praising God for it. And as believers, it's kind of what we assume life should be like. This is our foundation. But then we have the Psalms of disorientation. These are the Psalms of lament, which actually are the most common of all the different types in the book. These are Psalms where everything falls apart and we're hurt, we're suffering, maybe we're dying, and God seems far away. And these are Psalms pleading for help from God. And as we're going to see, they do that in ways that maybe seem surprising to us. And then third, we have the Psalms of new orientation. And the key word here is thanksgiving. This is when the psalmist has been in that place of disorientation, but God has brought them out. They're surprised by what God has done in some sense. And so you have to show thanksgiving to the God who brought you out. But it's not the same as what it was before. It's a new kind of orientation. Now, again, like I kind of said earlier, there's this bad assumption that only in the church, the only appropriate Psalms are the Psalms of praise and thanksgiving. But the book of Psalms, including the laments, were written as part of public communal worship. So maybe that says something more about us and what we think faith should be than what the Bible actually is doing. The life of faith is not a journey to some mountaintop where God is. And, sometimes we get there and then other times we're not with God. It's more like this endlessly repeating cycle where we go through these three phases, but God is part in all of it. So let's learn to use this ancient language of faith in every situation. Hope you're excited.